In this video, I want to answer the question, what is failure mode and effects analysis? FMEA. FMEA is part of the deep and robust toolset that is Six Sigma. It comes out of manufacturing industry, but can be very valuable to project managers in understanding and analysing problems on your projects. FMEA is a highly systematic approach for identifying and analysing potential failures in a system. It tracks back to the 1940s and 1950s, but it is as valuable today as it was then. And the best way to understand it is to take you through a typical failure mode and effects analysis worksheet. There are many different forms of these. Some are very simple, some are enormously complex and sophisticated. I'm going to use one that sits nicely in the middle. It's probably towards the simpler end, but it captures everything that you need to understand as part of getting a grip of how you might be able to use failure mode and effects analysis on your projects. So, first, each part of the process needs a unique reference number, an ID, and often FMEA uses a similar numbering approach to that we use when we create project work breakdown structures. Next, we need to outline the function, the step, the item that we're analysing. Then, the failure mode, the thing that either has gone wrong or could potentially go wrong. And there may be multiple failure modes at each function or process step. For each of the failure modes, we need to identify potential causes that can lead to the step or the function or the process going wrong. And equally, we need to think about the potential impact. So, what is the impact on the key output variables or on internal requirements, for example? And sometimes this is split into local effects and system-wide effects. Indeed, for a very complex system, there could be effects at different layers within the system all the way up to system-wide. Then we have some measure of severity. How severe is this potential impact or effect on the end user, the client, the customer in our projects, to our stakeholders? And just like any risk register, we'll also have a probability estimate. So for failure mode and effects analysis, this is often represented as a frequency. How frequently is this likely to occur? Because in manufacturing, we could be producing tens or hundreds of thousands of items in a day or even in an hour. Detection mode sets out the existing controls that will either prevent the failure from occurring or detect it should it occur. And often we have a measure of how easy it is to detect. Combining the severity, the probability, and the ease of detection, we get some form of a risk level. Often this is stated in FMEA as a risk priority number, or RPN. Clearly in project management, we often represent this with a colour coding, red, amber and green, or a simple risk number. Next, further investigations needed that will help us to more clearly define the failures and more accurately estimate the likelihoods and the impacts. And crucially, we have mitigation actions. What are we going to do to mitigate the threat of failure? And as with any risk register, you can add other things to this that will track responsibilities and performance of those mitigating actions. So failure mode and effects analysis is very similar for us as project managers to our risk register and risk management process, but it focuses on failures of systems. So for some projects, this can be a useful additional tool, a useful additional way of thinking about threats to your project or to the deliverables or products that you're producing. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you want more, please subscribe. And if you want to hear about it in your inbox, please hit the notification bell.